name's Sasha. Thanks for being here. Today we're going to explore a few poses for the arms and for the legs to help prepare for headstand or Sirsasana in yoga asana. A lot of people love going upside down. I'm one of them. Some people don't at all. And whether you're one of those people or not, we're going to prepare the muscles around the important joints that help us to sustain and practice headstand in an intelligent way where we can receive the benefits so that we're not compromising anything. So you're going to have to modify to suit your needs always, but I'll offer some suggestions here. I'm just sitting on my shins in virasana or vajrasana. You can also sit on blocks or a cushion. If you really want to sit in virasana, you can separate the toes and kind of move the calves out of the way and sit the butt down. If that doesn't feel good for you, sit up on a block in between the heels, or just sit up on the heels like I just was in vajrasana. So this is virasana. You can interlace the hands here once your butt feels stable. Interlace them really tightly, flip the palms forward, and lift the arms up for Urdhva Baddha. Press the elbows together, not to lock them, but to press them in towards each other and elongate them up towards the wrists. Turn the palms straight up to the ceiling. Lift the arms up. It might feel like you're lifting the shoulders, but it's actually just lengthening the arms. So take one more breath here, just enjoy this. And release. Turn the palms towards you. I like to roll the wrists here and then switch the sides. So you switch to the other thumb or the other small finger is on the bottom. Turn the palms forward, lift up, and as the butt goes down, the arms go up. And again, you press the elbows towards each other to extend the arms and lift the whole spine up. The palms turn up to the ceiling and your breath is easy, not stuck here. So take one more breath. You can kind of pump the arms back a couple times. And if they bend at some point, like if you can't straighten them where you're able. So you might have to stop at some point that's not on either side of the ears. You might have to stop a little bit more forward, and that's fine. So once you move the arms slightly back and up, you can release them, release the palms, or turn them towards you, and roll the wrists if that feels nice for you, like it does for me. You can continue to stay here if this is nice in virasana, or again, change your seat. The next is gomukhasana. I'm going to use a strap here, and I'll show you just what it looks like from the front. I don't really use the loop, you can, but I just use the strap in general. So I'm grabbing it in my right hand, I'm going to lift the right hand up and then bend the elbow, and then take the left hand back and around and grab the back of the strap. So this is the front view. My right elbow goes in and up. My left elbow goes just out to the side. So the shoulder blade is on the upper back, on the left side. The left collarbone is wide. The right elbow goes up and you're kind of tugging at the strap. And I'll show you from the back in a moment. Just lift the back up so you're not pushing the ribs forward, and breathe here. And then you'll switch. So just release that and I'll show you what it looks like from the back. And I'll sit on a block here so you can also see what that looks like from the back. So you take it then in the left hand, bend the elbow, right arm out to the side, and it grabs the strap just anywhere, and you just tug on the strap. Maybe you can walk your hands towards each other more. The left elbow goes in and up. The right elbow just goes out to the side. You might see the difference in my shoulder blade when I aim to do that. I'm still working on that as well. So you're not moving it back, you're not letting it drop forward, it's just out to the side and kind of down. And as you tug them, you lift the spine up and you breathe. It's called cow face pose. And then you release. If you want, you can grab the fingers there. I can show you from the side, it looks like this. And if that's not accessible for you, then that's fine. This is grabbing the fingers. And you're breathing. You can also just simply switch your arms like so, kind of like a little windmill. It's a good exercise for the shoulders. And then finally we'll come to down dog. So I like to come to it from child's pose. It's a nice measurement, but on the heels or on something, if you can't sit down for a moment, like a cushion or a pillow, arms go forward and long, head goes down. And once the hands are firm, you come up onto hands and knees, tuck the toes, lift the hips for down dog, and you breathe here for a few moments. I like to widen the feet to start, firm the muscles of the arms and the legs, lift the hips, lift the spine, and kind of pump the chest towards the thighs a couple times. This also prepares the shoulder blades and the arms. And then once you're here, if you feel ready for this, you can bring the feet to touch each other. This might be after a while, but if you feel prepared now, you can. The feet come to touch. You can lift the left leg up just like parallel to the ground. So you're not lifting it up super high. If it comes high, just note that you're not opening the hip here and collapsing the arms like I just did. So you can lift it up as high as you can while still maintaining square hips. Reach through the arms and keep lifting the right hip. And then I put the left foot down and lift the right leg up. And I breathe here a few moments. I'm reaching through the arms and the right heel. I can maybe lift it up a little higher and keep lifting the left hip. And then I release and I come back down to child's pose just to rest for a moment, and I breathe. And I come up, and if you're really ready for this, you can practice handstand. I'm lucky enough to have a wall right here, so I'm going to use it. If not, you can practice what we just did again, which is Ekapada Anamukha Svanasana, or one-legged down dog. Otherwise, you can come to a wall with your hands about one hand's distance away from the wall. That works well for me. And you come into the same kind of down dog shape that we were in, this Ekapada shape. I'm lifting my left leg. I shift my shoulders forward over my wrists. I bend my right knee. I might have to walk in a little further to do that. And I just hop up. And maybe that doesn't happen for you right away. Maybe you have to hop a few times or you don't even get up, but that's fine. You're just pressing the hands down evenly and showing yourself that your arms are stable. If you're up, you bring the hips slightly forward away from the wall, and you lift the spine up. The heels stay at the wall. Take as many breaths here as you can without bending the elbows, and then lower one leg down slowly, the other comes, and you can separate your feet the width of the mat, grab opposite elbows, and hang out here. This is also a good preparation pose for headstand. So you firm the muscles of the legs here, so that the spine and the belly can be easy. You just kind of let yourself sway a little bit or bounce in the torso. Switch the cross of the elbows, and you'll notice that the arms are a little bit forward of the head, or rather behind the head. They're moving forward instead of moving in towards the legs. And then you can just come up to stand, and now we'll prepare the legs. So just come to Tadasana, that's mountain pose, with the feet and legs together as though you've made one leg. The arms by the side, and as you firm the muscles of the legs, lift the spine up. Open the chest and take a few breaths here. When the arms are by the side, they almost move slightly back, just a little bit, so the shoulder moves back with the elbow, the wrist, and the fingers. And you lift the whole body up away from you, away from the heels. So it's like you have roots that go down through the heels, and the trunk of the tree or the spine goes up. You can even take Urdhva Baddha here, upward interlaced fingers pose like we did when we were seated. It's also good preparation. Pump the arms a few times, lift up. And then release. You can open the feet wide, jump or step, wide, about underneath the wrists when the arms are extended like this. And firm the muscles of the legs here. Put the hands on the hips, elbows back, lift the chest. And this is Prasarita Padottanasana. So as the legs firm, you go forward, 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 forward. You can put the hands down. If this is enough for you, you can stay here. Otherwise, you can walk the hands back. And this pose is about the legs. It's not about being flexible. It's about firming the muscles of the legs, and that will extend them at the same time. And then you just let the spine release down. You're not pushing the back. And maybe the top of the head comes down. If it does, the hands go back just so that they're underneath the elbows, or the elbows are over the wrists, and the shoulders lift up. You can see the difference. Firm the muscles of the legs and let the spine release. If the head doesn't touch the floor, that's okay. You can also walk your hands a little forward if your head doesn't touch naturally. Bend the elbows, and it might pick the heels up, and that's okay. And you can kind of just explore what it feels like to touch the head. But keep the legs really solid as you do that. Remember, this is to prepare the legs. When you come up, you did as I just did basically. You can start to extend the spine, walk the hands forward, and we'll go right to the next one. So you'll go to Parshvottanasana. So you turn to the right leg, turn the left toe slightly in. You can come on fingertips or blocks and extend extend the right leg and just look forward. This is about the legs, remember. So the right hip goes back, the left inner thigh goes back, and you're extending the spine forward like crazy. And you're breathing, the feet are firm like roots, the thighs and the muscles around the knees are firm, and you're extending the spine forward vigorously. And then you'll just bend the knee and go all the way to the other side. Boop, boop, boop. So I'm facing my left leg now. My right toes turn slightly forward, and when I extend the leg, my shoulders are over my wrists. So the left outer hip goes back, this right inner thigh rolls in and back, and the spine extends forward like crazy. And you're breathing, the legs are firm, the spine is long towards the armpits. And then you'll come back around to the center. You can leave the blocks at either side, bend the knees to come up. If you need, you can shorten the distance between the feet. This is Trikonasana now, where this is one of the last poses for the legs. You'll widen the stance first, turn the right leg to the right, and again the left toe slightly in. Firm the muscles of the legs. You can widen the arms here to go down. So the trunk goes down on a block, or you can come on fingertips on the floor. I like to use the block because I can put my whole palm on it. The right butt moves forward and in, and the left thigh is firm. The feet are firm, the thighs and legs are firm, and the spine is long, so you're aiming to extend the bottom waist and the top waist at the same time. Firm the legs. You can even widen your stance a little bit more if you can. And if you want, you can reach the top arm along the ear, and you're using the arm and the leg now. The arm goes slightly back, the legs are firm, and you're breathing. And to come up, you just go 1, 2, 3, up. Woo! You pull yourself up. Hands on the hips or arms stay wide to turn the right foot in slightly and the left foot all the way open for the other side. I'm going to widen my stance a little bit because I can. I firm my legs, I widen my arms and chest, and I go down. So the left hand is on the block, the right hand is up. My head is not looking up. My head is just straight forward, and I even tilt it slightly back so that the left hip goes forward and comes in. This means the left femur bone, the left thigh bone, is nicely placed in the hip. I firm the legs and I extend the spine. And I breathe and I enjoy it. Maybe the right arm comes along the ear and you extend from the back heel to the right fingers. And keep using the legs here to keep the spine long. And then you go 1, 2, 3, up, pull yourself up and turn the feet in. You can walk them closer and step or jump them together back to Tadasana. Last thing to prepare the legs, and then we can practice Sirsasana. You can come to Dandasana here, staff pose. So the legs are long in front of you. If this is impossible, if your spine is like this, sit up on something. You can sit on a block or a cushion or a folded blanket. If you need to widen your stance, you can widen your feet a little bit to the edges of the mat or just to the width of the hips. I'm going to keep my legs together and extend the arms down so the heel of the hand presses down as best as you can. You can roll the arms slightly back to do that. This took me a long time to get, so don't worry if it doesn't come naturally. Our anatomy is all different too. Firm the muscles of the legs down. Remember, this is about the legs. And lift the torso up like the belly is coming up off of the legs. You can even lift the arms up to work the arms and the legs here. Move them slightly back and up, like someone's pulling the wrists up and anchoring the legs down. And now we'll do this on the back. So put the hands down, Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. So it's upward facing with the legs. And Pada is the feet. And if you like, you can keep the arms alongside of the body here, alongside of the torso, or you can reach them alongside of the ears, again, for arms and legs. And as you extend the legs up, you can bend them in and reach the heels up. Aim for them to be, the knees to be over the hips. So it's like ankles, knees, hips. Hopefully that's what mine are doing. So they're not coming way towards you and they're not far away from you. You're just in an L shape. And the last thing here, if you want, for the arms and the legs, is you extend the legs forward as you inhale as far as you can go. Maybe it's just halfway, maybe it's almost to the floor. And you reach in different directions and then you pull yourself up slowly. And you can do that 1 or 2 more times. So if you want, you extend the heels, you extend the arms in the opposite direction. And when you come up, it's slow. You can do that 1 more time if you like, or just bend the knees and grab the shins and take a restful moment with the thighs towards the belly. And you can roll up. And finally, we'll start to practice headstand. I'm going to take the clip out of my hair. If you have anything in your hair, you can take it out. And you'll come to the center of your mat. First, we're just going to do ekapada, or one-legged, to practice. You can, of course, practice this at the wall. If you don't have a wall, we're going to practice this for now. So I'll show you how to do that if you don't have a wall and you still want to try and practice this. You put the forearms down so the shoulders are over the elbows and the elbows are in line with the wrists. And touch the elbows so you kind of have this nice shoulder width distance apart of the elbows. Interlace the fingers tightly and just put the back of the hand, not the back, but the outer edge of the palm and wrist down. You can kind of tuck this bottom pinky finger underneath so you're nice and flush on the floor. You have this, I have like a cup shape in my hand, and that's where I'm going to kind of put the back of my head. I don't put it all the way in. The back of my head just touches the heel of my hand. So the crown of my head, the very top of my head is on the floor. I walk my knees in a little and tuck the toes. Before I lift anything, I lift my shoulders. So you can see that dramatic action of the lift of the shoulders. Then I lift my knees, and maybe I just stay here. Maybe I walk my feet wide, almost like a wide down dog, and I keep lifting my shoulders up. If you want to practice ekapada, you can bring the feet closer together and just lift the left leg parallel to the ground and keep the shoulders lifting. This is actually sometimes harder than the full pose. And you put it down and lift the other leg and lift the shoulders up. You can rest, or you can lift the left leg again and just take little hops with the right foot. And then put that down, and same with the other side. Do your best not to lift the head. It's difficult. And then put the knees down and rest for a moment. Take a breath. Those hops don't have to happen. They're a little bit difficult if you don't really understand what's going on in the shoulders and the arms. So it's easier to do that when you're against a wall. So now that we have the wall, I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to turn the mat around so that the edge of the mat, the short edge of the mat, is right up against the wall. I'm going to make sure I have space. I'm not going to hit anything when I'm up there. And I put my fingers up against the wall. So this is what it looks like up close, the interlaced fingers. And then they're about, the width of the shoulders. Maybe like this, and I don't push my hands together. I leave a little bit of space, and the back of my head just goes here. I sometimes even just touch my thumbs. That's just how I like to practice. And this little pinky finger goes under, so it's all the way flat on the floor. And so the knuckles are going to go up against the wall in this shape. I'm going to put my head down, tuck the toes, lift the shoulders first, then lift the knees, walk my feet in, and just go for it. You can lift one leg and then take that little hop and kick up. If it doesn't happen, you can take these little hop kicks and know that the wall is there. And lift the heels up, lift the shoulders, and move the butt away from the wall. And keep lifting up. And you can stay there or come down. Maybe you don't stay very long, and you can rest in a child's pose or something similar. And I'm just going to leave the mat like this and show you what it looks like from the side. Actually, I'll turn the mat so you can see what it looks like from the side when I'm saying to move the butt away from the wall and not let your butt sink back into the wall and arch the back. So when you move the butt away from the wall, it aligns the hips with the shoulders and the torso really nicely. This is what it looks like from the side, or you can practice with me. So you set your arms up, you're nice and firm and equal. You lift the shoulders, tuck the toes, lift the knees, walk the feet in. And here in the center of the room, as the shoulders lift and the arms stay anchored, you can bend the knees and hop yourself in. And maybe it takes a few times. Or you come in and you go up. And the shoulder blades are nicely in and up. The heels go just slightly back. Like the butt would go forward away from the wall, and you lift. So my arms are prepared, my shoulders are prepared, my legs are prepared because of the work we've done. To come down, you can lower one leg than the other, or bend the knees and gently put the feet down and rest and breathe. And one of the reasons I'm willing or able to breathe in that pose is because I've prepared the arms and legs really well. So I'm steady, I'm there. It's effortful and it's difficult, but there's a sense of ease because I'm well prepared and nourished in the places that are making the effort to stay in that pose. So to rest, you can just simply lie down on the back. I think it's important to take a bridge pose after. In many Iyengar classes, you'll also see after something like a headstand, you'll do something that brings the chin towards the chest in this Jalandhara Bandha situation. It also helps to lengthen the back of the neck. You're not trying to over-lengthen it. It just creates space after you've had that slight compression by being upside down with the legs above the head. So you can bring the feet in. You can always use a block or two for this if you want, for a bridge pose. Or you can just put the hands down by the side. The feet are about hip-width apart. The heels are behind the butt. You can grab the sides of the mat, kind of tuck the shoulders under, and then lift the hips up. Walk the shoulders under more. Like you could pull the mat apart with the hands, and you could walk the shoulders right under the chest and lift the hips up. By the way, you are not moving the head here. So if you're in this pose and moving the head, come down and watch first. You're lifting the sides of the hips up towards the ceiling. And then you release. And then you can move the head if you want. And you breathe. You can also do that with a block, like I mentioned, placing a block under the pelvis. Some teachers will tell you to put it the wide way to create space. Some will tell you to put it the highest height and the most narrow way, so it's just right on the sacrum, and you have to find what works for you. This one's quite narrow, but it feels okay for me. So you can rest here in this shape, tuck the shoulders under, and really press the arms down and make sure the knees are parallel. And let the belly relax here, and let the chest come to the chin naturally. To come out of it, you lift the hips, and release, and I like to rest here in Baddha Konasana so the feet come together, the knees go wide, and the arms come out to the side. And you just take a few breaths here to rest. And if it feels nice, you can stay in this position or extend one leg and then the other for a short Shavasana. I'm not going to stay here today with you, but I invite you to stay if that feels nice. To come out, you roll to the side. I roll to the right side. Come up. You can sit in a cross-legged seat for a moment and reflect on your practice, but most importantly, please thank yourselves for being here, and thank you for practicing with me.